Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 1 of the Get Course Education podcast, where we cover all things education from exploring courses to navigating through your study journey and beyond. Today, I'm joined by Neha and Hannah from our partner institution, the Learning Group. And today, we'll be covering what it's like to study with the Learning Group and what kind of courses they offer and how you can maximize your productivity when it comes to online study and much more. So, buckle in and let's get the conversation started. All right, we did it. We're famous. We're on a podcast. This is episode 1. Hannah and Neha, how are you?
Good. How are you, Tom? Thanks. How are you?
I'm good. As I was just saying in our pre-meet, I'm enjoying 9 days in Sydney, looking after my sister's cat. So I can't complain. And
Yeah, we've got better weather in Sydney than we have here in Melbourne for sure.
oh God, I remember the last time I was in Melbourne, I couldn't tell whether what I needed to wear because it was freezing when I woke up, and then
Yeah.
5 minutes later it was boiling. So you guys really do cop it down there, don't you?
Oh, well, try living here.
All right. Well, so thanks for joining me today. I wanted to maybe let's get started with briefly what the pair of you do at the Learning Group and how you guys interact and help students because you both play different roles. And then we'll get a little bit further into the question lineup for today of what it's like to study with the Learning Group. So who wants to get started?
Yeah, so I'll get started. So I am the sales team leader. So my role would be more to do with sort of advising students on what course would be best for them. I deal with them a lot before they actually get enrolled, talking them through course outlines, figuring out what modules and courses are the best fit for really where they want to go career-wise, and then helping to steer them in that direction and get their journey started.
Awesome. And what about you, Neha?
Yeah, so for me, I manage the support team. So once the students are enrolled, so we look after their enrollment, help them with their assignments, any like questions, queries. My team just looks after them until they pretty much finish off their course.
Yeah, beautiful. So in two nutshells, we've got pre-student and post-student. That's basically where you both sit in the organization.
Yeah, that's true.
Hi everyone, I hope you're enjoying the episode so far. I just quickly wanted to interrupt to let you know that if you're considering upskilling or doing a course, you should check out our education marketplace, getcourse.com.au. We have a bunch of courses on there to suit all different needs, from short courses to nationally recognised qualifications. What's even better is when you enrol in a course through one of our partnering institutions, you'll get access to exclusive features that you won't get by going directly to the institution. To learn more about our offerings and why GetCourse is the place to find a course, click the link in the description or visit getcourse.com.au today. Now, let's get back to the episode. Awesome. All right, cool. Well, I think to kick us off, how about you tell us a little bit about the courses that you guys offer down at the Learning Group and what can people find when they visit your website?
Yeah, so I suppose we offer a really wide range of courses over lots of different topics of study. So when students look at the website, they'll be able to see a little bit of everything really to suit anybody who wants to study. So we cover lots of different industries as well, and topics like mental health, criminal psychology, and animal care. That's just to name sort of a few of our more popular courses. We do have courses that obviously cover more niche areas. And again, it's all dependent on the specific student. So our aim with our courses is sort of to provide the base knowledge and the foundation that students will require to break into those industries. And we like to try and make sure that it's just packaged in a really easy to digest format that the student will easily be able to take in and study.
Beautiful. All right, cool. And are all the courses online or does the Learning Group have campuses?
Yeah, so all of our courses are entirely online. The benefits with this, I suppose, are that students have the capability to completely structure their own study hours. So for some students, that looks like doing 1 hour in the morning before work every day. For some students, it looks like doing a crazy cram of 10 hours on a Sunday. But that's the beauty of online. We can kind of work with whatever the student has available to them in terms of time.
Yeah.
And obviously, you can fit your education in around then any existing work, sort of family commitments or social commitments that they already have.
Yeah.
So it's kind of really important to us that education is accessible to everybody. And that type of flexible learning kind of ensures that we can provide that for students.
Yeah, awesome. I guess with the online component, while it is really good and it makes it more accessible for everyone, surely there's got to be like challenges and stuff in there. So like Neha, once people actually get into the student position, what are some of the biggest challenges that you guys, face when you're on the ground with these people?
Yeah, so I feel like there'd be a few different things. Some students haven't studied for a while, so just getting started would be the main thing. Especially online, I guess that's just become a newer thing rather than going to like face-to-face classes and everything. So just trying to find like the motivation or even getting started or like figuring out how to like work with portals. That would be one thing. Another one is also maintaining their like motivation. Sometimes it just kind of like slips through the cracks and they kind of forget about it, especially with like life and if things come up.
Yeah.
So to address that, we usually just provide really comprehensive support to help them stay on track, regain the focus when they need. We're always there for support as well. And then we also just build that rapport with our students so they feel comfortable coming to us with the online learning platforms because it can be something like that's very new and scary to them, but we just want to make them feel comfortable and help them along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. I think also having a strong support network, particularly for all online learning, the people that aren't techie, knowing that they can come to you and that you guys are approachable, I could imagine that would be really comforting for a lot of students as well.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like once we've built that rapport, we just provide that support, encouragement. I've seen students who have struggled at the start and then by the end of it, they haven't needed us at all. So that's always great.
That's how you know you're doing the job right.
Exactly right.
And then based on feedback, what parts of the learning experience with you guys do people say they find most engaging or enjoyable?
They really do enjoy the content that we've got. We do have some really in-depth content. We have like some things that I guess like, the notes that they can read, some set task activities where they can actually go and find the information themselves. Sometimes we have like a project at the end of a module, so that way they can get a little bit more creative rather than just using a basic Word document. So yeah, it's just trying to find, I guess, like having the theory, but then also just trying to make it as engaging as possible and as interesting as possible. So we do update our course content as well, just to make sure that the information's industry relevant and not out of date. So then I guess that's another bonus as well. So whatever they're learning is all up to date.
Beautiful. All right, cool. And is there a time limit with people's studies? Like when a student enrolls, I'm guessing the learning, as we were talking before about it being flexible, there's no super strict deadlines, but surely they couldn't stretch the course out for like 7 years. Like there's got to be some sort of limitation. What do you guys have around that?
Yeah, correct. So with our courses, they're structured to be completed within 12 months, but then obviously flexibility is one of like the greatest advantages. So there's no like mandatory lectures or set schedules and everything's self-paced. So it really just depends on like the students, if like they're able to put 5 hours in, 10 hours in, whatever they can fit within their lifestyle. But generally they should be able to finish it within like the 12-month time period.
Sure. So like 12 months is like a relaxed amount of time to get all the coursework done, but theoretically it should be done quicker than that. Is that right?
Correct. So 12 months is just to obviously take into account that people have like busy lifestyles, they've got family, they've got things that will come up. But we have had students that are finishing it really, really quick. Just really depends on how many hours they're putting towards studying.
Yeah, awesome. And so what happens if a student hits a crisis for, whatever reason and they, can't complete their course within that 365 days because things, let's be real, come out of nowhere and for some reason or another, it may not be possible. So how does the learning group sort of deal with that?
Yeah, so we fully understand that unexpected life impacts can happen. So sometimes they might need to pause their studies. We can offer a deferment period. So then this way they're able to have a little breather, deal with like what they need to, and then pick up their studies later on. The other option is sometimes they just run out of time. So we do have the option to do some like extensions. So yeah, the flexibility is there for them as well.
And is that as simple as them, just reaching out to you and communicating that and then you go from there and work it out or?
Yeah, correct. So all they need to do is either give us a call, send through an email, just let us know what's going on, and then we find out what the best option would be to provide that additional time for them.
You guys sound super flexible and super approachable. Like it sounds like the ideal. Do you guys offer course sampling or anything? Like can people get a taste test for the content or is there like a trial period? How does that work?
Yeah, so if students are kind of keen to get started and they want to get an idea of what the course material will look like before they get started, we can send them an example of what a module will look like with us. And that will include, the assessments and the set tasks and the form that they'll come in. While the module won't necessarily be one that's from their course of interest, it will give them a solid idea of how the portal will look and how easily digestible the information is.
Yeah.
Aside from that, if students do, jump into a course, even if they're not 100% certain and set on wanting to study, we do actually have a 5-day cooling off period,
Yep.
which is sort of detailed in the documents that we send through to the student upon enrollment. So if they do decide that, they've looked at the course and it isn't for them, we can always work with them on that as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hi everyone, I hope you're enjoying the episode so far. I just quickly wanted to interrupt to let you know that if you're considering upskilling or doing a course, you should check out our education marketplace, getcourse.com.au. We have a bunch of courses on there to suit all different needs, from short courses to nationally recognised qualifications. What's even better is when you enrol in a course through one of our partnering institutions, you'll get access to exclusive features that you won't get by going directly to the institution. To learn more about our offerings and why GetCourse is the place to find a course, click the link in the description or visit getcourse.com.au today. Now, let's get back to the episode. And with the soaring costs in education as well, just like everything else right now, the bag of groceries I just bought, I can't believe it. It was like not even a half full bag of groceries. And it was like $70.
Yeah,
Don't even. I spent like $100 on groceries the other day and I wanted to cry.
It's crazy. So how are you guys tackling that? Like, how are you addressing affordability for people?
Yeah, look, I mean, like you say, everything is the same at the moment. Inflation is through the roof. Obviously, affordability in studying is a huge thing. A demographic that we sort of like to, cater to as well is young parents who kind of want to get back into the workforce. And obviously, we can understand that with kids, particularly, costs are doubled or even tripled. Kids are expensive. But yeah, in order to sort of address that affordability and those financial constraints that so many people are finding themselves facing at the moment, we actually provide a couple of different payment options. So the first option is always upfront payment. With our upfront payments, we'll always provide a discount on that course total,
Cool.
which kind of fluctuates over the course of the year. So sometimes it might be, 15%. But it can go as high as 40%, depending on the time of the year. Obviously, with that as well, we can take a student's, situation into account too. So your other option then is payment plans that we offer. All of our payment plans, because we cater to students, naturally they are completely interest free. And we can set them up in line with our students' pay cycles. So if our students get paid weekly, fortnightly, or monthly, we can set up a flexible payment plan for them that's going to match up with those pay dates for them. So that's just a couple of ways that we're sort of committed to helping students out with that financial side of study as much as we can.
That's awesome. Is there like a rigorous process to get into the payment plans? Because let's be real as well, getting any sort of finance, like for cars from the bank or anything like that, they really dig deep into all of your financial history. They, want to go through everything with a fine-tooth comb. And sometimes that can be a bit intimidating for people. So do you guys have a system like that, or are you a little bit more lenient?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. So we actually have a couple of different payment plan providers. So there's obviously a couple of them, where the checks would be that bit more rigorous. But we do have payment plan providers available to our students. And with those, the checks would be more in line with making sure that the student's income is enough alongside things like, rent or their mortgage repayments and just monthly living expenses, that we're not going to leave them out of pocket if they enroll in the course. Whereas obviously the more rigorous ones are going to look at things like, other loans that the student might have out, their credit rating. So we do have a good level of flexibility in regards to payment plans as well.
Well, of course. I mean, on your guys' side as well, there does have to be some sort of due diligence. You can't just sign up, anything and go, oh, sure, just come on board. Like, you've got to make sure, they do have some sort of income. So that's understandable.
Yeah, well, I suppose another benefit, we actually can cater our payment plans in terms of their length. So standard length for a payment plan with ourselves would be 18 months. But in the case where a student maybe is in, a position where the financial commitments for an 18-month payment plan isn't manageable for them, we can extend the length of the payment plan so that the weekly or fortnightly repayments are that little bit less. We can sort of work with students to make sure that the financial aspect of the course for them is manageable.
Yeah. And still allow people to get ahead and do it at a pace that, is really suitable for them.
Exactly.
What about so if anybody that's been listening to this, or they may have seen, advertisements, or they may have already been to your website, what's the next best thing for them to do if they want to, take action and talk to yourself or one of the other sales team down there?
Oh, get in touch with us. So you can give us a call. The number is 1300 800 003. Or you can go on our website, www.thelearninggroup.com.au. and fill out an inquiry form there. One of the team then will give you a call and they can just sort of guide you through the course that you're interested in.
Beautiful. Is there anything else you'd like to tack onto the end? I think that was all of my questions for today. I think we nailed episode 1.
Yeah, I think we've kind of covered every base for sure.
We've done well.
Well, we'll be putting this out on YouTube and Spotify as well. So if anybody listening to this has extra questions, if you're not ready to inquire yet, you can always ask it in the comments section, and we can help you out there. Awesome, girls. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Thanks, Tom.
Have a good one.
You too.
Bye.